Foreign policy, two quotations rather. Bill Kristol, editor of the Weekly Standard, quote, "Voting yes on the congressional resolution to use force against the Assad regime in Syria," I'm going back a couple of months with this, "would be statesmanlike," close quote. Senator Mike Lee explaining why he opposed the congressional resolution to use force in Syria, quote, "We cannot ask our men and women in uniform to engage in a military conflict that does not present a national security threat to the United States," close quote. And there you have the divide between the interventionists, so-called, the neoconservatives, and what? Mike Lee, how did you feel, for example? You've got Senator Paul, for example, who says the invasion of Iraq was a terrible mistake. Would you go that far?
You know, I don't think it's helpful or necessary
to go back.
To go that far. I don't think it's helpful or necessary to go back to past conflicts. But what I will say on this conflict is that if you added to the quote that you just read the rest of my analysis, you would see that I went on to say, moreover, I understand that a case can be made as to how this can end up impacting American national security. Nonetheless, we have to have an end game in mind. We have to be presented with something in which there is an end game that's positive for us. And I had still have never been presented with a game plan relative to Syria that would show us a really positive outcome. For example, we don't know a whole lot about what exactly would happen, who exactly would take charge of a post-Assad Syria. Would a post-Assad Syria be more or less hostile to the United States? That really is an open question, a question that was never answered by the administration. That's one of the reasons why I did not support the president's proposed plan to go into Syria.
Okay, so your point on Syria, your point generally, I think, but help me, is not that you're opposed to the use of American force abroad. You want to make sure that the administration knows what it is doing, and your test would be, I think I've heard you outline two tests. One is whatever we're sending our forces abroad to do must address a threat to the United States itself.
Yes.
We don't simply we don't put our men and women in uniform in danger to do good. They are there to defend the Republic. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Look, we've got a lot of bad guys around the world. A lot of bad regimes that are doing bad things to good people. We cannot be in a position in which we're fighting every one of those bad regimes. It simply will not work.
And test number two is we need to know the military objectives and how it will end.
That's right. That's right. So there's got to be a direct link to American national security, a direct threat to American national security, and a plan for getting in and getting out that would enhance American national security without subjecting it to additional unnecessary threats.